In DGE 8.0, we've made a few changes in the web portal, particularly for the context of the business owner. So business owner DGE is anybody who owns data, file system share, or a subfolder within one of those shares. And the business owner is somebody who's responsible for approving, denying requests in the IT shop, or periodically attesting to the access that people have to the data. So that's a business owner. We made some changes in the web portal for the business owner so that they can get more detail, a little bit more drill down information into who has access to their data. So we call it access analysis. So when you log into the web portal as a business owner, go to responsibilities, govern data, get the list of the data that you own. And for any particular governed data, so here I'm focused on a folder that I own within a share called research and development. You see this new access analysis tab, and it's alongside the other ones that were previously there in previous versions of DGE, like master data and recent activity. So if you're collecting activity on your file system shares, that would show up there. The new one is access analysis. And again, this provides a bit more of a drill down into some interesting details about the people that actually have access to your data. Things like their location that they're in and their primary role, things like that. So what I'll be talking about is some of the different dashboards and some of the views that you'll have that a business owner will have related to the data that they own so they can get more interesting information about it. Within access analysis, again, we have some charts that provide a little bit more interesting information about the access that people have to one's data. So here's a couple of those charts. The first one is access analysis via access assignment method. And what that means is if you think about an access control list that's on a folder, it will have either groups or users directly ACLed, things like that. And this will show you a breakdown of that access control list. So in this example, my research and development folder has 3 access control entries. 2 of them are groups, and one of them is an actual AD user that's been directly ACLed. Now, this doesn't tell me anything about how many people have access. It just kind of gives you an overview of the assignment of access to the folder that I own. So in this case, 2 domain groups, which may be domain local groups that may have nested groups within them. You can't really tell from here, but this just again shows you a breakdown of the direct access that's on the folder or resource that you own. The second chart is access analysis by department. So this actually will show you the employees, their departments, and it'll break down, it'll show you, for example, here I have 5 people in R&D have access to my data, 2 people in escalation, 1 person in IT, and 1 person in marketing, while 1 person doesn't have a department assigned to them. Now, these are employees who are within the groups that have access, and they may be nested deeply within the groups that are directly ACLed. But we do the full group expansion. We find the AD accounts, we associate the employees, and we find their primary departments. So that's what this is, access analysis by department. We'll show you a breakdown of the primary departments that those employees are in that have access to your data. These charts within access analysis provide some more information that's interesting to the business owner. The first one there, access analysis by primary role title. Now this one requires the business role module to be installed as part of Identity Manager. So if you don't have that, then you won't see this particular chart. But if you do, and if the employees have business roles associated with them, then this chart will show up. So this one here, for example, is showing this is my folder that I own. I'm a business owner. I own the research and development folder. And it shows me that I have a product manager that's associated that has access to it, an IT superstar, that's their primary role, 2 software developers and 2 escalation engineers have access to my data. So that's what that is. It's again requires the business roles module to be installed for this to show up. The second chart, access analysis by location. Again, this is targeting a specific resource that I own, and it's breaking down where the people who have access to my resource, what their the primary location is. So I have some remote employees. There's somebody from Ottawa, somebody from Berlin, but by far the majority of the people who have access to my resource are located in Phoenix. Now, it may be important for things like if there's certain regulations saying that you should or should not have people who have access to your data that aren't in the same country, things like that might be useful. One thing to note about this is that it's not the actual name of the location object with an identity manager, it's the city that's associated with that location object. So for example, I might have a location object that's Berlin, but it's actually the city field as part of that object that gets looked at here. So just something to keep in mind as part of this out of the box chart, that it's not just the name of the location, it's the city that's associated with that location. So those are two of the additional charts as part of Access Analysis. Something else that comes with the Access Analysis, as a business owner, log on the web portal, targeting a specific resource that I own, you have the Access Analysis that gives you the charts, those 4 charts. You also get this Access Details Grid, which provides you more full information about the people who have access to your data. So we do the full group expansion. So on my access control list, I might have a domain local group that might have nested global groups. I might have people in there, and even further nested global groups. We do the full group expansion. We find all the accounts that are in there, associate that with their employees, and then we list them all here, including the metadata about those people. So their departments, location, primary role, again, if you have the business roles module installed, and their manager. And then for anybody who you click in this list, anybody who you select, you get some more information about them. You can't really see in this image, but we have basically a full contact card that gives you just different pieces of metadata about the person who has access to your resource. And then again, you can't see it here, but there's a button at the bottom which allows you to actually navigate directly to the employee in the web portal. So again, this is just kind of more full information about who has access to your data. This is part of the Access Analysis, new Access Analysis tab.